Oh, yeah.
After a difficult festive period, how nice is it to kind of walk into this sort of time of the year with sort of that gap between you and the relegation places off the back of a win?
Yeah, I mean, it's, a lot of work done since we got here. We're 2 points in it when we got here, and now we're 7 points out of it, which is a pretty big shift over the games we've had. I said last night, 9 points out of 8 games doesn't sound a lot, but when you look at the actual table and you look at the teams in amongst that sort of period, it's hard to get points in the Premier League. So to turn that gap around has been pleasing. And of course, I said before the game, I don't change my tune. It doesn't mean that the whole season's done because you win that game. But of course, it was a big, big game, very important game for both sides. And we came out on top, which I'm very pleased with, of course.
I know you're not going to be complacent, but does it mean you can start to look a little bit more forward and a little bit more long term?
You're never really looking backwards. You have to learn from what's just happened with results because of the performances and, what we've done in games and all that sort of stuff. But I don't really stare at that too much. But equally in the football business, you can't plan forever. The immediacy still needs taking care of, and that's what we planned to do when we got here, and that's what we are doing, focusing on the here and now, trying to get the best from the players as a collective, because obviously the Europa League picks up again soon. Trying to create a squad of players who can compete not only within ourselves but against the opposition, on a weekly or in our case 2 or 3 weekly basis, and that's the challenge. So it's ongoing, and it still will be.
I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but obviously we now know that PGMOL has kind of admitted fault with the refereeing decisions of the Man City game. You had discussions with him previously. I was wondering if you had a follow-up on that and whether it's kind of at least nice to hear it sort of confirmed your thoughts at the time.
Yeah, I think we're only looking for, sort of a level playing field. I think most are. We only wanted an answer. I think it was very fair of them to look at it. I had an open conversation with the club about it. I'd had a couple of chats with Hal Webb about it, and everyone sort of decided the right things, I thought, pretty fairly. No win or lose on them moments, just fairness. That's all we're looking for. And in any given game, you're just looking for parity of decisions and, the consistency of refereeing and decisions that are made. And that's all we're all looking for. So I think it's a fair outcome. It doesn't change what happened because we might have got a point here and there, maybe even a win, who knows. But it means for the future, at least, they some of these things can help the wider picture of refereeing. So I'm against what sometimes popular beliefs. I'm a big fan of referees because I think it's a very difficult job. And as you've heard me openly speak about, still don't know why they have to talk to everyone and all that. Just let them get on with refereeing. Just let them do their job.
I just wonder if you got an update on Arno Calamawendo in this status.
Yeah, only that it was made clear when I got here the trading model and the nature of the club. So that we're waiting on that situation. We're obviously into other situations. I would hope that's apparent. So I've made it clear, and the owners made it clear to me. I'll back there and support the situation. We still need the right players at the right time, and that was a deal that the club had done, which they felt the next deal with him is a very good one for the club. So they're looking at that now.
And so are you optimistic then that they're also looking at replacing him and bringing others in? So I know you talk about potentially forward this window.
Yeah, I mean, you can be as optimistic as you want until the pen's on the paper and it's done. But yeah, there's certainly ongoing conversations with situations, that's for sure.
How does it work with this conversation, Sean? Like, who do you speak to?
Yeah, the club have been very open. No, the club have been very open with me and my staff. I don't know how it's been previously, but they've spoke to us about what do we think. We've got lots of games under our belt in the Premier League, not just me, my staff as well. And they've been very open on the scouting side. We've had meetings with the varying scouting units, the analysis units to talk about players, and that's been ongoing for the last couple of months.
Finally, a freezing cold Friday night at Wrexham in the FA Cup.
Beautiful.
It is, isn't it? But it's going to be a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, I know Parky, with the job he's done, I think he's over 1,000 games now, which is incredible in itself. He's still a relatively young manager, 58 or 59, something like that. I've seen his career from afar for a long time, played against him, seen his teams, had great success in the early days at Colchester. More or less successful everywhere he's been, and he's certainly done a brilliant job there under positive circumstances, but still quite interesting circumstances with a lot of noise off the pitch. And he just keeps himself going under the radar, keeps his teams going and does a good job. Dave Jones, the coach there, who's brilliant for me at Burnley. Great fellow that he is, Steve Parkin, who's a character. So they've come across J Rod Briggs is there as well. So a lot of these people I've come across many times, but good operators. So obviously I don't wish them well against us, but generally I think they do a really good job. So yeah, they've had some wins on the trot now. I think it's 4. So they're a good outfit. So we've got to be ready without a doubt.
You're looking forward to it.
I look forward to every game. I mean, look, it's harder. I'm not going to deny it. Like last night's a big game. It's an important game. There's a lot of anxiety for me, the staff, the players, the fans. So it's it's a tough industry, but you got to learn to love the toughness of it. You got to learn to love some of the hardships and the hard takes, but also the good stuff when it comes your way. So there's certainly a good feeling about the camp after going down to West Ham and winning there.